Yeah, finally, saying I'm live. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's going very well on this late night. Welcome to another stream. Well, it's not been that long since I did the last one, but I had a couple of days off, so yeah, we're back. Going to have some exciting things today. I finally received my dev kits from Valve, so we're going to start having a look at different options of running a Godot project on Steam. We're not going to go through a whole setup because plenty of videos already out there that I've made about how you set up an XR project. So I will be starting with an XR project that I've already got, but we're going to run through the different modes on how to actually run the game on the Steam frame. Quick little disclaimer here. I already put that into the description of the video. I am going to stay on topic. I am going to stay on the fact that, we're going to talk about Godot and the frame. I am not a review channel. Also, not completely free to talk about every little detail. So don't ask me questions about like, whoa, what sort of GPU is in that thing? I'm not going to talk about those sort of things. So going to try and stay on topic there. Okay. Got the first little bit of documentation up on stream. This is something that I'm quite proud of. There's a couple of things that probably need to be tweaked as we get closer to the release of Godot, above Godot 4.6. We're in RC1 at the moment. We have an official version coming out hopefully in a week or two. Knock on wood, if nothing comes up. So there might be some changes there. Obviously, it's still a dev kit, so who knows what Valve will changes in the next couple of months before it's actually released. So, but hopefully this gives a first good introduction, and also for those developers who are going to get dev kits. Obviously, this is a nice way to get started. Valve is nice enough to actually host a whole page about Godot in their own documentation. So the link to this page is in the description. And this gives you a high-level overview of, what is there. So obviously we're going to go into a little bit more detail in this stream. But it is a good reference to start with, and where you sort of go like, oh, hey, these are the the bits and bobs that I need to be aware of and that I might need to look into. The other thing which is very important is that there are a bunch of other things here that are important. So we might touch on them as we go through it, but there is some information about, how do you connect over ADB to a Steam frame? How do you run and load games on there, blah blah blah. So a number of these we'll go through today, where they impact Godot, but be aware that there is actually fairly good documentation on Valve's own website about this. Let me quickly have a check up on what everybody's talking about in chat. Just a lot of hellos. Hello everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Kamau, indeed, inside of VR, I could put up a whole bunch of monitors, and maybe at some point I will do a stream that I'm actually in VR. Who knows? Still too used to using normal monitors. We have a few stars for the Exo player. That's also always good. Okay, so I actually haven't downloaded the RC yet, so that's funnily enough where we're going to start. So yeah, very important. 4.5 does run on the Steam frame, but 4.6 has the interaction profile changes that you need for the Steam frame. So, and RC1 actually has a change in there because there was some strings that had to be adjusted to apply to the proper OpenXR standard. So really, Godot 4.6 RC1 is the minimum build that I would recommend to use with the frame if you're targeting the frame. So I'm just going to go and download the standard version. Of course, Godot is always asking for donations, and I can only second that. Please support us. There's actually close button doesn't work. Where is my file explorer? Here we go. So I need to go into downloads, and it's still download. But there's an old file there. I wonder what that one is. Why is that so slow? Is that because I'm streaming, or is that because something is stuck? Something is stuck. Of course, something is stuck. Okay, there we go. It did come in now. There's something weird going on with my browser. It gets stuck from time to time. Oh, it's downloaded the Mono Linux version. I must have accidentally clicked on that. Anyway, I just want the Windows version, so I'm going to go and grab that, and I'm copying it over there, and I'm going to go and start it. And of course, it tells me like, yeah, don't trust it. And we are going to use my little Flynn demo that I've been playing around with from time to time. There's our Godot plush. Hello, Godot plush. For those who are not aware, this is a little demo that I made for fun a little while ago. It is based around this beautiful scene from the Tron movie. Someone put that together and put that on Sketchfab, and I thought it was cool, so I used that. So we'll be walking around that. So that's a little test environment that we'll be using. And really that's it. Now, the thing is, I do have an older build of XR Tools 2 on here. You'll notice that I don't have the vendors plugin in here. You don't need the vendors plugin. However, the vendors plugin does enable a few extensions that will become important on the Steam frame as far as foveated rendering is concerned. I'm not adding it in today in the stream because we still have a few issues to resolve. But once those are resolved, I do recommend installing the vendor plugin so that you can make use of foveated rendering. And again, we haven't got it working yet, so can't confirm or deny, but the expectation is that yes, eye-tracked foveated rendering will likely work with that as well. So that is something that that I will touch on, or we'll maybe do a video on, or another stream on once we have that all working. Today we're going to do without the vendor plugin, and for this project, it really is overkill to use it anyway. So yeah, be aware that yes, you should use the vendor plugin. We still have a bug to fix, and when that's fixed, I'll let everybody know, and then yeah, you can include that, and it will just work. But this is also one of the reasons why I'm using 4.6, because 4.6 is the first version of Godot where the vendor plugin is not needed to deploy to Android, which is going to be important in a bit. Ben, when we are looking at what I just talked about, that is foveated rendering. Foveated streaming is built into SteamLink itself. So that works regardless of what we are doing. So as long as we are using, as long as we're using SteamVR, then it's SteamVR who will, if you're using the Steam frame over SteamVR or over SteamLink, the frame will send the eye tracking data to the PC, and we're not doing anything with foveation there. It is the image that we are supplying to SteamVR that gets encoded in a way that where you have focus, that there is all the quality, and everything else. At least that's what I understand from all the stuff that was online. I haven't, obviously this is the black box that we're working against. So I've never looked at the internals of that, but that's the impression that I've had so far from all the documentation that I've seen. Okay, so we have Godot running, and obviously making everything run in PCVR mode is as straightforward as always. So I'm going to make sure that my frame is actually up and running. 1 second. Make sure that it builds up, because it's probably fallen asleep. Yep, there we go. Let me start that one. And I'm just going to go and make SteamVR work. I will be sharing the desktop of this thing later on, but oh, am I not running Steam at the moment? I thought I started Steam. Yes, I've got Steam running. Why are you not seeing? I might have to restart it. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, that's fine. Go for it. All right, give it a moment to start up. There we go. All right, so just to prove it, like, oops, don't do that. Here we go. SteamLink is up and running over there. And you can see that the nice frame controllers are there. And I don't know why it has this little H thingy there. I'm assuming that they're going to have an actual frame icon there eventually. But yeah, Rectus, yes and no. With my glasses, it's fine. But yeah, mileage may vary from different purposes. I am eventually going to get lenses for it. The other thing is, put it on, put it off. That is probably one of my favorite things. And also, it just sits on my head like this, so I can actually work on my computer when I'm not in the headset, which is something I'm really happy about. I'm gonna pick up everything. At least my it always takes a bit of time. Maybe that's also just me. How do you mean pick up everything? Like the Steam environment itself, or how the weight distribution feels like in comparison? No, I cannot talk about the weight distribution. You're just going to have to take it from looking at me wearing it. That's one of the things that they've asked me not to do comparisons and stuff like that. And I also don't want to. Like I said at the beginning in my disclaimer, I am not a review channel. So, yeah. Anyway, I've got SteamLink running right now, which obviously when you're developing, that's the way that you do it. The funny thing is, if I would turn this into a PCVR game and I would put this on Steam and I've got my Steam library on the frame, I will actually see my app in my Steam library. And the moment that I start it, it will just say like, hey, you want to run it on your PC? Yes, fine. Go and run it on your PC. But because I'm now developing, I need to specifically start up SteamLink and be in the SteamLink session. And I can suddenly just do what I always do, which is just hit play. And I need to drive that over there. And now if I go in here, then I'm in my game. Let me just put this on properly. And, you know, this is just extra tools. It's a center thing. And I've got my controllers here. There's a little, you know, ghost hand thing that I still have. Because we've got the whole thing that you can't go through walls. So this is a little test application that I made for the original render models. As per my video that I did the other day, is you can see that it does all the hand animations. There's still a few things that need to be improved there, but it is really happy. So I can just walk around and, you know, I think I can pick up some things here. But of course I'm sitting down, so that's annoying. And yeah, that's still stuff that I'm working on. This is still an older version of Extra Tools that has the floppy thing, but that's my stuff. That has nothing to do with obviously the headset. The other thing is, you know, there's some information that it shows here, and there's like a stat over there, so you can see it runs in pretty high resolution here. I've got it set right now to 90 frames per second. That's just the headset setting. The headset can obviously go higher. But that's what I'm running in with testing. So yeah, that's my little test scene that we're going to be working with today. Again, I didn't make this as far as the environment is concerned. It's just something that I downloaded from Sketchfab way long ago. But I just, you know, I'm a Tron fan, so quite happy with that. But yeah, that is what it looks like in SteamLink mode. So there we go. There we go. All right, let's catch up on chat, because obviously I can't read chat while I've got my headset on. Oh, I got to scroll up, way up. Let's see. Let's play with the eye tracking. Yeah, well, you know, that's actually something I haven't done a lot with the eye tracking yet. And it's actually something that I want to do something fun with as well. Well, Brad, thanks for telling people to watch my stream. That's really cool. Yeah. Absolutely stay on the Godot stuff. The index is hard to put on remove with glasses. Yeah, but you know, the index is also already 7 years old or 5 years old or whatever old it is. It's over there. I still love my index, but I haven't used it recently anymore because there are now better headsets on the market. So how to go an XR developer like you? I'm just a beginner. Just start, Smooth Spike. That's the best advice that I can give anybody who wants to do something in XR. Godot is free. If you have a headset, it runs with most headsets. There is a lot of tutorials on YouTube on how to get started. We have a beautiful thing called XR Tools as a toolkit. This is running on a new version of XR Tools that I'm still working on, so that is far from feature complete. But if you look, if you just Google XR Tools or Godot XR Tools, you'll find our normal toolkit, and that has a whole bunch of features in there that just you can just hit the ground running, and you can make a nice little XR thing. It's not yet been announced, but we are aiming for a game jam first week of March. So that's another really great opportunity to get into developing XR games with Godot. It's a nice little fun, lightweight week of just making stuff, and people will help out and stuff like that. So that's another tip there. We recognize the environment, all seeing the best, being able to start. The great thing there, and again, I don't know how much I can talk about that experience because it's also not final yet. But because you're logged into Steam on the headset, and you're obviously logged into Steam on your PC, it knows what you have, and it works really nice together. So yeah, that experience is definitely really, really nice. As far as how quickly it does on off, I am not going to talk about that. Again, it might even change before the headset is out, but that has nothing to do with Godot. I am not going to talk about those things. Yeah. Again, not going to talk about how quickly it boots up or not. That is not what the stream today is about. Tend to do mod to Halo Strap with Hinge Dev mode is easy to play pop, but yeah, the VR on the forehead while coding is a stress. Well, shall I? Can I make my point without saying it out loud? By far my favorite thing of this headset. I wish more headsets were like this. Just the development experience is amazing. Sovereign display quality is the most point. Code virtual windows, but yeah, dev fatigue is a stress. Good day. Is this standalone mode or PCVR? So we're going to be doing everything. So I'm starting right now with PCVR. That is always what I recommend people to use by default when you're developing. The great thing that I like about the PCVR mode, and something that on other ecosystems is sometimes a bit of an issue, especially if you are a Linux developer or if you are a Mac developer. There are often, and now I'm just talking general, right? I'm not talking about Steam or Steam Frame. I'm just talking about the general ecosystem. It's not always possible to run in PCVR mode, but the great thing about running in PCVR mode is it's instantaneous, especially with Godot. There's no compiling. You hit play and you saw how quickly the app was on my screen. Actually, well, it was on my left part of the screen. I had to drag it onto the screen, but it basically starts right away. So as you're developing your application and as you're debugging, you save so much time if you work in PCVR mode. And that is the advice that, whether you're working on a Quest or whether you're working on Pico or whether you're working on any other headset, is develop on PCVR, test on your headset. So develop, do your things, do your debugging rounds, and when, every now and then you then push it out natively and you test whether it performs correctly on your headset. But the development process is so much faster if you stay in PCVR mode. You save yourself so much time developing. So doesn't matter which headset you work on, I would always recommend, develop in PCVR mode and just, periodically test on the standalone headset to see if there's any issues. Alrighty. Hold on. I've lost track of where I was. Editor running a native. Yeah, we will. Whether I'm gonna get to the point where we're actually running the editor on the headset, I am not sure yet, because actually I haven't tried it. but in theory, it just should work. So, so that might actually, if you have time left, we might actually experiment with that one. Are you able to talk about the experience of running the editor on the desktop mode of the frame? Well, again, I actually haven't tried it yet, but maybe during the stream, if we have time, we'll play around with that, but we'll get there. What games do I make? I make XR support in Godot. Hopefully, I'll make a game at some point that is on the thing that I want to do at some point. But my day job is making sure that you guys can make XR games with Godot. See, you're also doing some standalone mode. Yep, so we're going to be going there. Thanks, Kimel, for clarifying that I am indeed the XR maintainer for Godot. It is a Linux desktop environment. Yeah, we will get there today. DevTools intro. There we go. Any idea when we can expect foveated rendering in Godot? Foveated rendering in Godot has worked for years. So yeah, we have foveated rendering support for God knows how long. Oh, that's cool. I'm not really okay. Well, hey, Svenny, welcome to Godot. If you're new to Godot, go check it out. Go and have a play around with it. For as well, smear the lenses. I have not had issues with smearing the lenses. Although I do have short crop hair for that reason. But yeah, if it does get a bit smeared, then you wipe it off. I am in Sydney, Australia, and on 40-degree days, those are the days that I do hate having a headset on my head, because unfortunately I don't have air conditioning in this room, which is really annoying. There is also a fan for that reason running in the background, and I hope that doesn't give any background noise. Yeah. Kemal, thanks for advocating for XR while I am catching up. It was a big issue in PSVR 1, my only VR headsets. Oh, which one? Which question are we referring to there? I'm not anyway. Yeah, export modes and dev nodes. Yeah, let's move on because I'm getting very distracted by chat at the moment. We have got PCVR working, and that is really as simple. You saw, how it went even from installing Godot and opening up an existing project, and boom, and watch some of my other tutorial videos on how quickly you can actually set up a little game like this, especially if you use extra tools. I am going to go in preparation for the next steps. I'm going to take a quick detour into the editor menu here. I need to learn how to talk. And I'm going to go to this option called Manage Export Templates. And we'll see that we have lots of export templates for older versions installed, but it's telling me you're missing it for RC1. So we're going to hit the download and install button, and that's going to take a few minutes to do. So while that runs, while that's doing its thing, I need to remember how to share my desktop on this thing. I always forget how that works in Steam. Ooh. God, I did it yesterday, and now I forgot where it's hidden. Where is my play? Is it over here? Sorry, guys, I'm doing something off screen because I'm trying to remember where the option is to share my what I'm seeing in headset. and not actually, it also reminds me I need to get out of SteamLink because we're not going to use SteamLink for this. Oh my God. Steam remote play. No, I don't want that. I just want to know, how do I start remote play? Steam, yes, it's in settings. Why can't I find the bloody settings? Is it in here? Oh, it's in here. No. Okay, someone help me. Where do I find the remote play option in Steam again? Why is that so hidden? Because it says I need to go to settings, but where the hell is my settings? No, that's not it. Library. Let's see, is someone actually helping me in chat? Did it this morning, and I forgot completely where the option is. Come on, where are you? Oh, it's still. Oh, why can't it connect to the down them or insole? Okay, let's try that again. I don't hope that the oh, there you go. Now it is. Now it's downloading. Running Office PC. Well, Godot is right now. What I just did was all running on PC, but I'm trying to see where the bloody hell my share screen thingy is. No. Come on, I had it this morning. Yo, here we go. Okay. Remote play. There we go. Connect. All right. There we go. Hold on. Why is it showing me that? Ding, 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 ding. Hey, come on. Down. I do not want you to be there. Here we go. All right. So while that is all downloading, I am in my Steam frame here. And the thing that I wanted to show here is this thing called Lepton Dev. So this is, Lepton is the Android, because we're going to do Android first, Android APKs. Lepton is the Android emulation support thingy, whatever it's called in Steam. So that comes installed by default. So if you have an APK, then it will just run. But for development, if you want to actually interact with it, you do need to install this Lepton Dev thing. Might come pre-installed. I can't remember, but we have it. And I'm going to launch it. And once that's up and running, and we're going to come back into this interface later, but come on, start today, please. Always on stream, of course, these things suddenly have a moment where it decides to do something extra. Well, let that just run. We'll come back to that in a minute. So I'm just going to move this off screen for now. That is now installed, is it? Express installed and ready. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so what have we just done? So two things. Sorry, that's a little bit messy. I probably should have prepared that a little bit better. But I just installed our templates in Godot. So the templates are what allows you to export games out of Godot, whether it's, because right now we're in dev mode. But if you want to export something to another device, or if you want to export something because you want to have a deliverable that you're going to send to that you're going to send to a store or whatever, you need to work through your export templates. So the first thing is always installing. So you do that through editor, export templates. Second thing that we just did on the Steam frame itself, and I just want to see, yeah, it's running now. So let me actually quickly bring this up. So hopefully, oh, it doesn't show that in there. That's interesting. I guess that's hidden. Oh, no, it is. There it is. Yeah, there we go. So that is Lepton Dev, which is just a little Android interface there. So yeah, we'll go back to that once we actually push something out, but you have to have Lepton Dev running on the computer there. The other thing that we need to do is we need to go and open up a little terminal, because one of the things that it doesn't do automatically is no, ADB, why? Yeah, ADB. List devices. So, come on, you just ran it. Why are you suddenly saying, or did I just do the wrong command? Is that it? Oh, devices minus L. Devices minus L. There we go. So list of devices, you can see no device there. So we actually need to manually connect. And my frame is called mux frame. So I'm just going to do ADB connect mux frame. It's found it. Yes. And it says, hey, I am now connected. So you have to start Lepton Dev first. And then you need to connect from your PC to Lepton Dev. And that means that we are talking to each other. In Godot, we need to go in project. And of course, I have them already set up. I am just going to quickly delete. Sorry, I'm doing this off screen. delete, because I want to give you guys the experience of a new project. So that is what it was supposed to look like at startup. And we need to start with creating a export preset. So we're going to go to add, we're going to go to Android, and we're going to go and rename this. You can name it anything you want, but I am going to call that SteamFrame APK, and we need to set it up. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we need to use this use Gradle build option. So I'm going to take that. Yay! It says now you haven't installed it. Please install it. We'll do that in a minute. We're doing an ARM64 build, so we leave that for what it is. There's a couple of other setups that we need to do, actually. Let me really quickly go to Docs XR. If you Google on that, you're going to go straight to the Godot Docs on XR. And I just wanted to make everybody aware there is a page on how to deploy to Android here with generic information. And the most important part of this is actually the export to Android. It says here what tools you need. I've got these tools all installed for a long time, so that's why I'm kind of skipping over that part. But I just wanted to point everybody, you need to have OpenJDK 17 installed. You have to have Android Studio installed. And with those two installed, or, install it through the command line option, it's happy. And there's a couple of settings that you need to do. So you need to make sure that Godot knows where your stuff is. Once you've set that all up, Godot can export to, wrong window. Can export to that. Let me actually quickly catch up on stream because I see a lot of stuff go past. Okay. Can you make multiple screens in the desktop environment? Not going to talk about what functionality there is in the SteamFrame itself. I'm only going to talk about Godot related stuff. NDA drop. So obviously there are things that are still under NDA, but now that I've got the dev kit, I am allowed to talk about anything that's Godot related and running Godot onto the headset. So yeah, we already are on Linux. Please, I'm allowed to talk about dev related stuff. Exactly. Curious the performance of Godot project running on the headset itself. Well, again, same sort of thing. That really depends on your project. You will be seeing how my project runs on it, and that's all that I'm going to touch there. And also, this is a dev kit. It's not the final product that's going outdoor. So even if I was allowed to talk about it, how much does it mean? Anything can happen between now and this thing going on sale. So not really a thing that I want to touch today. In a moment, but I wanted to try Godot. Is there good support for C++? Well, yes, there's built-in support for C# in Godot. Godot itself is written in C++, so you can do stuff with C++ if you want to. But I would advise anybody to give GDScript a try before you go down that route, because GDScript rules. So yeah, we're catching up on that. According to SteamFrame, debugging dogs, desktop, you can open Steam settings. Yeah, remote play. That. Thanks, Kyo. That's exactly what I did. I just couldn't find the settings option. And it was indeed the menu that doesn't look like a menu, which is annoying. Blah, blah, blah. Render perf is still below Unity Unreal, but no, yeah, exactly. It is an open source engine, and we're doing our best with the resources that we have. And yes, that is a SteamFrame. Let me hide back on the power. It's not one. No, they told me that I can show the hardware. I just can't, do more than show me using it. So I'm not going to go and hold it up to the camera close and do that sort of stuff. But yeah, they told me that I was allowed to wear the headset on stream. So that's what I'm doing. There are 3 modes. It'll be All right, I'm just going through chat. So if I miss something in chat, I'm very sorry. But I don't want to spend too much. My chat's never been this busy before. Anyway, so we are at this point. Export. We are here at the. So we created the export stream. So the first one was enable Gradle, but the second option that we need to do is all the way down here, which is XR mode. We need to set that to OpenXR. So that's going to tell it to create an OpenXR application. And that's those are the two things that are mandatory. The rest we can leave as is. So we now have that set up. We have that set up. So all we need to do now is go here into projects, and we need to do install Android build templates. And it's going to say, hey, I'm going to install that. Do you want to do that? And that's why we had to download those templates first. And that gives us an Android folder in here. And we don't need to worry about that Android folder. Once it's there, we're happy. What we also will see is that we have a button here. So we're not going to use that play button that we used before. So that button runs our game in PCVR mode. The white cable here is just a charge cable. I don't really need to have that in there, but it's a long cable. It's right next to my desk. So I have a cable in there. It should have, the battery is long enough to go through the stream, but I'm just not going to play around with that. Anyway, as I was saying, so the play button here is to run it in PCVR mode, but we have this remote deploy button over here. And with that remote deploy button, you can now see that because we've got Lepton Dev running on the headset and we've got ADB connected to it, we are now, and we have our preset set up properly for Android, we are now seeing our Steam frame in here. And I can now go and click on that, and Godot will run through. Why is that window going up so big, and why can't I resize it? I just can't even move it. So it moves now. I think it can't move while it's actually running, but it's just doing the whole export. Now, the first time it runs this, it takes a little longer because it's actually setting up Gradle and stuff like that. That first build will take a minute or so, but if you do changes to your application and then you go through this process again, it's actually fairly quick. But it will now basically create an APK for me. And we'll just wait a little longer for that. No, we're actually running in Vulkan right now. So you can see up above that the mobile renderer is being used. It's a Vulkan renderer. Godot supports OpenGL. I haven't actually tried OpenGL lately on the Steam frame, so I'm not going to say much about that. I know that it is supposed to start working, but the last time that I did with it, there was still a problem with that. However, we can now see that our application is actually running on the Steam frame. So I just clicked away to actually get to my application. That's the same thing that we were seeing on PC a little while ago. This is just, again, XR tool. So I'm just holding my button and we are in the same application. Now we can see that it's slightly less resolution, but it is running really smoothly on 90 frames per second. And you can see that, we're at around a 2 millisecond frame time for this project. And yeah, that is running really nicely, and it's just running the same as when it was running on PC. The experience is pretty much the same, but it's now natively running as an Android build. Cool. So, no, yes, no, I do need to be there. I need to go there and then exit game. There we go. Sweet. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to say is because I've now started it through that remote deploy option, you can see that I'm actually getting a complete debug session running over that. And I'm actually seeing, information come back from everything running. I can do all my normal debugging in Godot. So if I had put a breakpoint in here, even though the application is running on the headset, it would nicely have hit that breakpoint and it could have stepped through code and all that sort of jazz. Not going to demonstrate that. That's just a little bit too, it's not really the purpose of today's stream, but it's also standard how Godot works with Android builds. The last thing about the Android build is that this is obviously for how you test things and how you debug things and how you push it out to the headset for development. But there's also an export project option here. So when you run the export project, it will actually create an APK in whatever location you designate. And that's obviously the APK that you would then package up and deploy on the Steam store, and that people would actually install and run. Okay, let's go and see if there's anything to catch up here. Remote connection will be simplified in the future. Can you share a demo? So we get I think the link to the demo is in the description, and if it's not, I will put it in the description. This is on my GitHub page, so you can play around with the demo. It runs on just on Steam VR on PC as well, with just a Quest or anything else that you want to play around with it. Mobile, to be clear, is what we recommend for VR on PC as well. So yeah, now mobile renderer is that's really what I recommend for this setup nowadays. And yeah, don't use Forward Plus unless you really have a reason to. There are still some stereo issues in Forward Plus to deal with, but because we're all kind of targeting standalone headsets, and Forward Plus is not acceptable for standalone hardware. Wouldn't touch it for this. Godot behave on fax. Haven't actually tried. It works natively, so why would I? Using any adjustment spaces for glasses? Nope. This is straight out of the box. Mobile recommended for simply for performance. Yeah, it's basically the mobile renderer has obviously it's targeted at mobile hardware, so standalone hardware. There's still work that we are doing on making it get as close to our compatibility renderer as we can. But because of the focus on standalone hardware, most of the XR development has gone into the mobile renderer. So while the Forward Plus renderer does have stereo support and does get updates and improvements for stereo support, it's not at the top of the priority list for the XR team. You know, we have limited resources, so most of the focus is going into mobile and into the OpenGL renderer. Games. I'm not going to talk about other people's games on the Steam. I'm only going to talk about Godot. Steam frame itself using Godot. Well, we'll do a little bit of that, but we're getting there. It's already usable in Quest standalone for dev. Yeah, no, it's just a Linux PC. So, how does the ARM64 Linux build? Yeah, we're going to get there in a minute, Nerve. That's like I said in the description and in the beginning, we're going through all three. Yeah, no, you can see wearing it like this. I love it. It's perfect. And again, you know, other people might have different experiences, but I love it. Vulkan, no hand tracking support as far as I'm aware at this point in time, but it's something that, yeah. Tried native ARM via Lepton ARM. So yeah, let's do the next step. So a little disclaimer when it comes to our Linux ARM deployment is that we do not yet have a way to deploy directly from the editor when we're running on a PC. That is something that we are looking into, and that we do want, that it becomes as easy as going to the remote deploy and just running it from there. Right now, if you want to go to the Linux version, we have to actually export it and then use Steam to actually upload it to the frame. And that also reminds me that I want to quickly exit Lepton Dev. I don't need that anymore. So bear with me for a second while I exit that. Confirm. Okay, I don't need you anymore. There we go. Sweet. Okay. So, add Linux, and we're going to call that Steam Frame ARM64 as an export platform, and that means that we want an ARM64 architecture over there. That's the export preset, export project. Now it's going to ask us where we want to export it to. So I'm just going to go into here. Oh, that's an old one. So I'm actually going to create a temporary folder here. Temp for stream. Yay. And I am going to go and create a folder there, Flynn demo. One thing that I did learn is Frame doesn't like spaces in the names that are actually being sent to the headset. So I'm not putting spaces in that name. I am not putting spaces in that name. It's the only little thing. You can export with debug, which means that we get debug signals, but I'm not going to do that for our test today because we're not going to use that part anyway. But that is, still stuff that I am looking further into. That part of it is also still fairly new to me. So I have now created that. The second thing that I'm going to do, and I am not comfortable sharing my my Steam library with you guys, so bear with me that I'm launching this behind the scenes. But you need to, well, whether you are developing for Steam Deck or anything else, same with Steam Frame, there's this beautiful thing called the SteamOS DevKit client. And you need to start that up, and then I need to wait until that actually is started. Foveated rendering has been working in Godot for God knows how long, but there are a few things that if you want to use it natively on the Steam Deck with eye-track foveated rendering, we still have a few bugs to fix, but that is something that is coming. No gaff, or why not? Why are you not seeing my Steam Deck? You bloody thing, that was working earlier today. What are you doing? I'm not sharing that. Very good. I don't want to do that behind the scenes. Developer. Yeah, so you should just be seeing my Steam Deck. Why are you not seeing my Steam Deck? Sure. Yeah, we are in enable. So I might just have to reboot that for a sec. Because it should be showing my Steam Deck. So I'm just going to do a quick reboot just in case that there is something stuck with whatever I was doing before. Because it should just be showing my Steam Deck in this list. Yay! Okay. I'm just using my local Wi-Fi at the moment. It's good enough for what I'm doing today. Okay, so that's back up and running. Is it now showing here? No, it's not. Okay, hold on. Let me just restart it and see if it comes up then, and else we're just going to try and run it on IP address. This is the first time that this has not done what I need it to do. That would be a real shame if that suddenly doesn't want to work. All right, let me just try that off screen for a sec. So why are you not detecting it? That is so weird. 8 stokes. Connect. There we go. Well, yeah, I have no idea why why it was not picking it up automatically. It has been doing that perfectly all since yesterday, and then today it doesn't really want to do. So this is from an earlier export that I did. Should I just so normally with default it'll all be cleared, but I will reuse that one because it's the same stuff that I need to fill in anyway. So you need to give the thing a name. Again, same thing, don't give it spaces. So this now needs to be that folder that I just created. So let me just quickly find what that folder name was. Is there no, there's no thingy in there. That's a bit of a shame. Projects, Valve. Temp for stream, Flynn demo. So this is going to be valve temp for stream, and that is then Flynn demo. So I'll actually put this on screen. You'll see that in that folder, there's that ARM build that I have, and then there's a PCK, which is Godot's PCK. Now, if I had the vendors plugin, and again, like I said in the beginning of the stream, we do want to eventually use the vendors plugin, but I'm still chasing a bug. That's the only reason why I'm not using it today. But else the vendors plugin would be there. So it basically is going to upload the contents of this whole folder to the stream as a package. If you want to do the same with your APK, you can export your APK from Godot, put the APK in a folder, and then do exactly the same thing. Put the APK up, put the folder there. So we're going to delete any files that we have left over from last time. We then have our start command. So what are we actually running? Well, that's still the same as the last time. And then the most important thing is, which runtime are we using? So we are using the ARM64 runtime. We're basically telling the Steam frame that the application that we are about to upload to it is an ARM64 Linux build of our application, and that's what it needs to run. Now, you can see that there's a couple of other options, so you can tell it that it's an Android APK. I don't actually know why. I guess that's when you're on Steam Deck, I'm guessing. That's, I guess, the x86. I've not used any of the other options. For me, these two are the only ones that are important, and obviously this one is the one that we need right now. And then I can press upload, and it's now going to send everything off to my headset. And now it's on my headset. Now, I could press start there, and I just realized that, of course, my my remote desktop is now no longer up and running. So let me go back into... maybe that's actually why. Maybe that's why I couldn't connect, because I had the remote desktop stuff working. Anyway, because normally, obviously, I don't have remote play up and running because I'm usually not showing stuff. But I'm still in my Steam Deck environment. But just to show you guys that I can actually remote start this thing, so I can just press start over there, and it will, in a second, hopefully, start this thing. Come on. That should be faster. Did I not press it right? I did not press it right. Or it's not starting. Why is it not starting? Okay, let me just start it through here then. No, it's not there. Where did it install? Where is it going? Where is it going? All right, let me figure this out. Did I miss a step? Missing event success. It's supposed to start. Why are you not starting? Hold on for a sec, guys. Let me see what's going on here. Sorry, I just want to, because obviously I don't want to go through all this stuff on stream. I just want to start my game. And I'm sort of wondering, why are you not wanting to work? Is this again? No, it's not even put it into my library. No, I've got that all on, so that should be fine. Well, it's always funny when stuff doesn't want to work right away. I'm just going to run the upload one more time and actually look at what it is saying. Yeah, it's got devkit registered. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Flynn demo, is that all the correct path? Did I put a name there wrong? Godot Flynn demo, yeah. Did I put the folder name wrong? Valve, temp for stream, Flynn demo, no, that's correct. What am I missing? Why are you not starting? Why can I not see you? This is weird. This is also not showing up in my installed stuff. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? No. What am I doing wrong? That's not good. Okay, I'm missing something obvious. Because that is just supposed to work. What have I missed? What have I missed? What have I missed? What have I missed? So I'm wondering if it has something to do with the fact that it couldn't find. Well, it was working earlier today, so unless I've typed in something wrong, it should just work. So yeah, I'm not sure. It's just not showing up in the Steam Deck itself. So it's like it hasn't uploaded it. So I'm wondering if I have accidentally turned something off or... Well, storage. No, that's on there. Development, so that all worked. What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? Let's go and have a quick look over here. And we've done that. So here it says, yeah, we've done the pair stuff and that's the thing that I was missing. I was expecting it to show up here, but okay, we did it by putting in the IP address. And then name, folder, start command needs to be in there. Yeah, we've got sniper selected. Click the upload button and click the start button. That's exactly what we did. Game will also appear in your Steam library. On the library, non-Steam, DevKit game. Okay. Let's go and have a look at that. Non-Steam. Oh, it is there. Okay. So, I don't know why the start doesn't work. That's probably something that I messed up, but hope you guys can see that. There's my game that we just uploaded, so I can play. And that's right, I did miss a step there. So we have to wait for that for just a second. So let that run. That's only a step that we need to do once. I'm not quite sure why it's downloading that. Maybe because I ran through an upload before. So that gives me a chance to go through the thing. So basically what it's doing right now is that it's downloading a library that I'm missing on the headset. So I'm guessing that something got upgraded there. So I just need to wait there. It is at 20% right now, so give it a minute. Geez, you guys have been busy talking on the chat. So let me scroll up. I am not talking about the controllers. You can see what you can see on the camera, and that's all. You see in SteamVR on frames, stability US-wise. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm only going to be talking about Godot. Sorry if that has been asked. What are the plans for foveated rendering? Well, you asked that a couple of times. Yeah, foveated rendering is working on Godot. The eye-tracked foveated rendering is something that we are chasing a bug on, but that will be fixed soon. So in the demo today, we're not using eye-tracked foveated rendering, but foveated rendering is going to fully work. Aussie Lingo is starting to wrap up on you. Yeah, slowly. I've been here for 18 years now, so I'm hoping that I'm picking up a little bit of slang. This Godot support running OpenXR games. In theory, I haven't tried it at 144 hertz, but I really should try that. But we're not going to experiment with that. So yeah, the Wi-Fi question I did already answer. So I'm on standard Wi-Fi. I need to play around with the dongle. Just haven't had time for that, and I didn't want to break anything. I only got the headset yesterday, so they come with the adapter. Yep. Illuminators for a sec. Oh, okay, cool. How well would you say glasses fit with Steam Frame? Again, I really can't comment on glasses. You can see me wear glasses, but glasses come in all shapes and sizes, so your mileage may vary. But I have no problems. So thank you for some articles on game dev. Very cool. I never had it on my forehead since it always sweats up and out. Well, you know, I am pretty happy with doing this. Godot a new frame for reference, maybe next normal runtimes. I am not going to talk about any hardware things, so I'm not going to talk about how long the battery lasts or anything like that. I haven't even done tests with that, so even if I didn't want to talk about it, I wouldn't even have that info. That was a bleep bleep. Is that saying, yeah, there we go. All right, let's go and move that up. We are now running in native. Oh, that's the other thing which is cool is you see that the when I'm in the Steam menu, I'm actually getting the desktop view. So this game does not have a separate desktop view. So I'm seeing a copy of what is actually in the headset, but I can display a completely different UI here if I want to. That only works so far as I've tested. If you're doing an ARM64 build or Linux build, but you could imagine, you know, you could do a menu system with save and load and stuff like that instead of having your menu system in game, or you know, or just a picture, whatever. You don't have to do what Godot is doing here by default. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that you could actually do something with that. Here we are again, same program, same thing. We have our big pushy there. We press the button and we're back in our thingy here. And you can see it running fine, except that my controller had gone to sleep. Sorry, I couldn't turn left. But yeah, this is it running on the ARM64 build, on the Linux build. So pretty comparable to what it was doing with Lepton. But yeah, pretty heavy. So that's well, I would say that's how easy, but we ran through a few problems getting there. But we got there in the end. So let's go and exit the game. There we go. Let's go and move that back down again. So yeah, this is the first time that this did not just work right away. I'm not quite sure what I messed up between the last time I was using this and doing the stream, but that's what you get when you do stuff live, right? When you do stuff live, there's always little things that go wrong. My experience so far has been that once you've got this set up and you've published something to the headset this way for the first time, from then on, it's just press export in Godot, press upload, press start, and it just runs. I think there's even an auto start upon, so if you tick that box, you just hit upload and it will start. So so that is the way that you can run that. There is more coming here. I want to be clear with that we're looking into how we can make that part of the process easier directly from the Godot IDE. But right now, if you want to run, where's my Godot window? Here we go. If you want to run your Godot application in Linux, that's what you do. So you set up your export template, you export your project, and away you go. All right, time to catch up on stream before we start on the last little bit that I think is very important and that I thought was really cool. So yeah, this is now all in standalone. Again, you know, you can see the metrics that Godot was saying. There is a tiny difference, but it's also obviously, you know, it's dependent on what is on screen. My experience so far is that it's very comparable. But yeah, I'm actually really happy about how it works. And again, you know, for me as well, is just like I said, you can run in PC mode over SteamLink when you're developing, so that you have this really quick turnaround in in testing your application, you can then use the APK build to actually test on the headset and do all your debugging. And you could, until we have that same debugging capability, which can't make any promises, but it is something that we're looking into, making that work with the Linux deployment as well. But as long as you don't have that, you can just do the Linux deployment as a final check and upload your Linux deployment. Or if your APK works fine enough, you just upload the APK. It's whatever suits your needs. It all works. That's the important bit. So yeah, Andre, that's the thing. Okay, this project was an existing project. That's the only thing that I'm cheating on today. I could have even built a project on the fly in here. That's how quickly you can get up and running. And we are at this point in the stream with having now gone through all 3 deployment models. Yes, we had some problems, and that's normal in a live stream. But it is not, those are the teething problems when you're doing something on the fly here. And we're an hour in. That's the Godot experience, right? Downloading, installing, up and running. So the resolution, I don't know. I can't really talk about why, because I don't know the reasons behind it. You could see in PCVR mode, you probably missed that at the beginning of the stream. On PCVR mode, we were actually rendering at much higher resolution. So I know that Quest is exactly the same. So I've actually had this same project running on the Quest just as a comparison. I am not going to do a comparison on the stream. I'm not going to go there. But I did have this running on the Quest, and the resolution is a similar ratio to what the panels are. And I think it has to do with the way that the lens distortion is applied on the image that we're rendering. So the end result is going to be obviously different. However, it's also, it's not final. Might change. It's a resolution that we get suggested from the runtime. I'm pretty sure that I haven't even tried this, but I'm pretty sure that you can tune it in your SteamVR settings, same as with PC. I haven't played around with it. I'm just working purely on the defaults because I am only interested right now in showing how Godot works with SteamFrame. How do you push out builds? How do you make your Godot XR application work on the device? The rest, play around. Once you have one, play around with it, see what you can do. It's nothing here is set in stone. So yeah. Level load times on standalone compared to desktop. I am not going to talk about any comparisons there because I don't have a well, first of all, I don't want to, but also I don't have a project to really show that with. So all right, there's one more thing that I want to do in this stream, and I think I'm going to turn off the remote play for that. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to regret that. I might have to restart that. But I am going to start remote desktop, and this is the standard remote desktop that comes with Windows, and I'm going to press connect. And again, this is all in the documentation as well. So there we go. We are now in the Linux environment that is on the frame. Oh, that's scrolled down. Oh, no, don't care. And the thing that I really just wanted to show is there's my files. That's what we just uploaded. So I know now where it is. But the other thing which I found really, really cool is this thing comes pre-installed with RenderDoc. Which I hadn't done here yet for some reason. Okay, cool. So I am just going to say, go here, go here, go here. There we go. And now I don't think I need to do any of that. And now I'm going to press launch. And you'll actually see that the desktop environment runs on here. There we go. So actually didn't need to do the thing. So I am now running my game while running RenderDoc. and I am just going to press F12. Did I do it? Oh, I need to, hold on, sorry. There we go. The, what you call it? The proximity sensor was being naughty. And now I'm going to close that, and RenderDoc has captured a frame, and I can debug my frame. I can debug my frame on the frame. That's as far as I've gotten experimenting with this, so I am not going to talk about more here. But I just wanted to show, how easy you get into the desktop, how easy you can just start up render frame, select your application, run your application, debug the stuff there. And yeah, you could actually even start the application from here as well. So in theory, we should be able to upload the Godot editor in this way as well. But I'm actually going to leave that out for the stream today, because I think that seeing that we had some problems with uploading, I want to experiment with that off stream first, and then I might put up a video of the Godot editor actually running on there. However, especially if you run it from here, it should just work as if it's on a normal Linux desktop. So yeah, there's definitely that. Anyway, I'm going to go out of our remote desktop session, and I probably should have shut off a render doc there, but that's fine. I've really gotten through all the things that I wanted to show today, and that I wanted to run through and show working and give everybody an impression about what it is. So let me catch up on stream, on the chat, and see if there's anything that I can answer and that I'm allowed to answer and comfortable in answering. Also, if there's any more questions, please feel free to ask them. You guys going to implement support for the tracked Steam? You mean the actual Steam controller, the normal, like the normal gamepad? I hope so. I don't have one. I do not know any details about it, how it works. In theory, as far as the joystick part itself is concerned, it should just be coming through the joystick API. I don't know if there's going to be that's actually another thing that I completely forgot to talk about. So I'll just really quickly touch on that, because that is also going to be important for that. We were actually mimicking touch controller all this time because I hadn't set one up, but because we are on 4.6 RC, we can simply go to add profile, and somewhere in here, where are you? Haste makes waste. I'm completely overlooking it. Unless something screwed up in here. Why can't I see it? Did we screw something up when we build RC1? That would be really bad if we did, because I can't see it. Where are you? I think we messed something up in RC1. That's a bug that I need to chase up, because the Steam frame is supposed to be in this list. And we did do a change right at the last minute before building RC1. So, or is it maybe? Oh, it's already in there. It is in there. Oh, I had a heart attack there. Okay, because it's already in there, it's no longer in that pop-up. But we do have this. For one moment, I thought that we had a last-minute screw-up on RC1. No, it's all fine. So, so here you can see that that you can map all the stuff on the frame controllers. So my expectation is that Valve will eventually release a profile for the track controller. But I am 99% convinced that the standard joystick functionality in Godot would already pick up the Steam controller. It just wouldn't be able to spatially track it. So, had a bit of a heart attack there. Okay. So yeah, other than that, I can't say anything about it. I don't have the Steam controller. I really hope that I get one, but unless Valve is very upset with me doing the stream, although they gave me permission for it. So, but yeah, I really do. I do want to support it in here if we can. So I won't be the ones holding it back. Plasma available RDP. I have no idea. Don't even know what Plasma in RDP is. I'm just using RDP because it's in the documentation that it works. And I was really impressed by how easy it is to use. So Oh, it's a type of. All right, so GNOME or KDE. Okay. So I'm showing my my lack of Linux knowledge here. Um, I've only used Linux for. Oh, what was the one that I used for servers at some point? CentOS, I think. But that's a long time ago. Long time ago. I really need to switch over to Linux. At some point, I do want to have a Linux development box. But you know, ever since I've been in VR, I am doing the Windows game, not out of not because I want to, because I have to. Unfortunately, all the VR stuff works best on Windows. Super happy where we are. Godot XR. Yeah. So there we go. There we go. Thank you, everybody. I really hope that this was informative and useful. Obviously, again, you know, as I said in the beginning of the stream, very important to know. I'm hoping that there are going to be developers out there who have received dev kits who are going to want to give Godot a try, and hopefully this stream will help them to get started. But between now and whenever it is that that people are actually going to be able to buy it, or you know, game developers get dev kits, I don't know how that works. So you got to ask Valve that. But anything can change between then and now, right? This is a first preview showing it all working, showing whoever wants to do it today, what the steps are, and we're going to build on top of this. So, yeah, render doc, I was so impressed with that. You could just do that, which is really cool. Let's see. Okay, I am not going to give my opinion on the Steam controls themselves, other than saying that I love them. That's all that I'll say about it. I'm only saying too much. Simple question regarding Steam. Sorry if I asked. Do you knuckle snipe grab input? Is there squeeze input? Yes, there is squeeze input. You can actually see it over here. There's the squeeze input, and the rest. I'm not going to say anything out loud, but I would recommend look at my replay and see what it's doing in that in this demo when I'm playing around with it. That should tell you enough. As far as I'm aware, Meta is still working together with W4, but again, that is a whole other thing, and not something that I am wanting to talk about today. What VR games do I play? Not enough. I've recently restarted Half-Life Alyx. I don't know if it's an old game, but it's still love playing it. I just, on a recommendation of someone, I just bought Ghost Town, so I'm going to be giving that a try soon. I wish I had more time to actually play games. I just don't have the time, because I do love playing VR games, but yeah, there's only so many hours in the day, unfortunately. Godot for eye track. So I already answered that a couple of times, but in theory, we haven't got it working today because we need the vendor extension for that, and there's still a bug in there. I'm fully expecting that once that bug is fixed, that we have eye track foveated rendering all running. Yeah, we'll keep repeating it, Claire. It is in the description, not a hardware review. Letting go down, have the VR. Yeah, Dutch Tiger. I hope you try it out. It's a lot of fun. So since it's shared a lot of hardware with, I am not going to compare Quest to this. That is for other people to do. I am not doing a hardware review. Again, oh, the second time someone talks about Meta. Again, this stream is about this headset. I am not going to comment about Meta, but as far as I'm aware, Meta and W4 are still hard at work on a whole bunch of things. Yeah, Half-Life Alyx is just considering how old that game is now, it is amazing how it is still such a great game. So yeah, still love playing through that. Let's see. So, yeah, it's in the description, like Lester, but yeah, maybe I should have done a pinned message for that as well. Okay, I think I've caught up on all the chat stuff. I hope this was useful for people. I hope this is going to get, I hope this gave people a good view about what Godot can do XR-wise and how it's running and how easy it is to use. I hope that this has given a help to whoever, just like me, has received their dev kits. You know, I'm really hoping that people, even if it's just for fun, just give it a try. Again, I can't stress enough that by the time that probably these headsets come out, things will have changed. But that's also why I'm not making a video out of this, why I'm doing this as a stream. I just wanted to share this. I just wanted to give people, you know, a first look at how do you use Godot with the Steam frame, what is involved, what do you need to know, and I hope I did that. And again, don't see this as this is it. There's more coming. But this is where we are today, and I think where we are today is a really, really good place to be. It's all working. Yeah, I am excited about seeing people use Godot for this. So yeah, oh, there's some more messages. Let me quickly go through that. I'm actually gonna put that off now that I'm kind of done with that. So let me put that to the side for a sec. Skyrim, yes. I have a hate-love relationship with Skyrim. I think Skyrim is an incredibly beautiful game. And the first time that I played it in VR, I have to say, it was on the PlayStation VR 1. But still, the impression was amazing. But I'm not a Skyrim person. I've played through it one time. I think I bought it 5 times in the end because I've bought it for multiple systems. The last version that I bought was for the PlayStation VR 1. But I've only played through the whole game once. Yeah, I think it's an amazing game, but it's not the game that I enjoy playing. But that's just me. But Half-Life Alex is so cool. UHMS are scaring me. What's UHMS? I don't know. Windows PC, and you want to directly deploy. Right now, Andre, today I would indeed say that the APK method for running it on the headset while you want to debug and test is the best experience. But that's simply because we don't have the automatic deploy on Linux yet. I'm hoping that we will have that, but I'm not making any promises because it all depends on resourcing and how much time we have on that and how easy it is to implement. I know that we did have we have a PR out there somewhere that implemented it for testing on Steam Deck. So at some point I'm going to take a good look at that and see if I can replicate the same steps there and see if that all works. But yeah, if I'd give advice today, it would be use the Lepton way to deploy and test. Whether that is then also what you upload to Steam when you sell your game, I think it's too early to tell. It really depends on what you like. For me, as a game engine developer, my stake in it is I want all the options to work, and it's up to you to choose which one you like most. So, no tweaking around scene. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I've said it a few times now. You know, my workflow is, you know, develop in PCVR mode, and then, you know, occasionally test in dev mode and do your debugging with APKs, and then do your deploy with and that opinion may change. You know, one of the things that I haven't done yet, but that I do want to do is see how well the editor actually runs on the headset. See how well I can use the editor in the Linux environment. I might change my mind. You know, I might just install the editor on the frame and run it in the Linux environment and just use remote desktop to do my development, and then just because then it is, you know, you hit the play button because it's play on the device, it'll just run on the device in theory. I haven't tried this, can't promise it works, but that's my expectation. So it's something that I want to try at some point. If you can view the scene in real time in VR and move things around with it. So again, that actually is a standard feature in Godot. So in PCVR mode, if you play, you can do that. in the remote deploy mode, you can do that as long as the editor is linked up to your running game. You can interact between the two. So the only scenario right now where we are today, where we are uploading the Linux ARM64 build to the frame and then starting it over there, because now there's no connection between the editor and the application. That's the only situation where today, with what we've done on stream, it doesn't work. But like I said a few times now, that is something that we are looking into. Just can't make any promises around it. Delay. Do we have a sense yet how the native compare to the APK bus? So like we've said a couple of times now, we're not doing hardware review, we're not doing comparison. Look back, the vault is going to be online. Look back what you can see and take your own conclusions. This is a very simple test project, so I wouldn't recommend highly to anybody watching this. Don't see this as this is the benchmark or anything. This is not a benchmark application. It's just a very simple scene that I threw together a little while ago and that I've been playing with. So, I don't think it is, but you can just see that it runs well. Host target model, yeah, no, that's all. It's something that we need to look into, and I'm sure we'll get there. And especially if there's more and more people starting to use Godot with something like the Steam frame, and I think this also goes for the people who are using Godot to develop towards Steam Deck. The more people there are, the more likely there will be enough contributors who will test that sort of stuff, and we'll get that sorted. I am not making any promises. I cannot promise that we will actually have it. All that I can say is that everything that you've seen on stream today, that is in place today. Lackluster. I think Godot and VR is a match made in heaven, whichever headset you're working on. But then again, I am very biased, so don't believe me in that. Take it for what it's worth. Cool. So I think that's all that I have, guys. Well, if I'm still around tomorrow, then you know that I haven't said anything that I shouldn't have said. I hope that, I hope this was worth it. I hope this was good. I hope this will convince people to try out Godot, and especially if you are one of the lucky people who have a dev kit, I really hope that, even if you're a Unity person or an Unreal person, have a play with it. Just have some fun with it. And even if you don't adopt it, you don't have to. Unity is great, Unreal is great. Use whatever tools work for you. But it is, hopefully I've shown how much fun it is to work with. Oh, yeah, no. I'm not a what's the right word for it? A professional actor or anything like that. I am just a game developer or a game engine developer, trying to show something off. So it's also why I mostly do videos, because I can edit all my ums and ahs out of there. But yeah. Oh, Big Valve is going to go now. I do want to make clear, I asked Valve whether they were okay with me doing this. And as far as I'm aware, I've played by all the rules, because actually, it's a new device. I don't think I've even shown anything today that isn't already out there, except for the Godot part. Watch what's his name, Linus's video, or watch Tested video. They tell you 100 things more about this device than I've done on stream today. So pretty sure that I'm in the clear, but it's a scary thing always. I want to play by the rules. I just want to spread the love and get people into using Godot for this sort of stuff. Okay, we definitely need more VR games, but I think one of the, and this is a personal belief, this is an opinion, not necessarily truth, but I believe that VR is a underutilized environment for indie and small studios. I think if you are an indie or you're a small studio, and you can see how quickly you can develop VR applications with that, and that the hardware is now at the level that it is performant enough that you can do what you want to do, there's a market out there for you guys. So yeah, I do believe that VR is still got a very healthy and long future ahead. But yeah, not everybody seems to agree with it, because every 2 months we hear someone pronounce the death of VR. So take it for what it's worth. And not being a great public. Yeah, exactly. That's I'm not. It's not my goal to be a public speaker. It's my goal to get people to enjoy using Godot for XR. Well, again, the SteamVR UI, obviously you guys saw a little bit of it, but take that with a grain of salt as well. This is a dev kit, guys. Can't say that enough. This is a dev kit. Lots of stuff can still happen between now and when this device hits the market. So they might revamp the whole UI. I don't know. They wouldn't tell me. But so that's also why I kept putting the screen off screen, because I only wanted to show the parts of where it is, or where you can find Godot and where you can start the application and stuff like that. The rest, again, take it for what it's worth. Early preview. Don't hang up anything about it, because that's not what this is. We also use Godot to create high fidelity 4+ PCVR apps. Yes and no. There are people who are using the 4+ renderer for PCVR games, for high fidelity PCVR games. And if you have a decent enough computer, because stereo does have an extra impact, it works. However, because the focus in development is right now on the mobile renderer, and before that it was on the OpenGL renderer, as far as XR development is concerned, that's where all the effort has gone to. So it works on Forward Plus, but there are rough edges when it comes to stereo rendering on Forward Plus. That will improve over time, especially if PCVR has a revival, which I am really hoping for, but time will tell whether it has. And more people in Godot are starting to use high fidelity or creating high fidelity PCVR games. I'm sure that there will be more. But today, I would say personally, stick with mobile unless you really know what you're doing, where you're happy to do customization and you have that experience. If you're else, I wouldn't go down that path. Not yet. And again, it's like I said, there are people who are using it, so it's not like no, but you will run into limitations. Yeah, some of my tutorials are, the starter tutorials I've updated, but most of my tutorials are actually from Godot 3 days. But there are a number of other people right now online who've done really good tutorials around extra tools, like Virtual Rook and Muddy Wolf. On Malcolm Nixon's channel, there are still quite a few videos around extra tools that are very handy. I am slowly trying to find time to do more tutorials again, because I just haven't had the time to update my older tutorials. But there's still a lot of stuff on my channel that is very useful. Yeah, the documentations are actually got too many windows open. Which one is it? This one. So again, excuse me. docs.godoengine.org is our documentation, and if you, why don't you scroll? Oh, this is the stupid bug again. Here we go. If you scroll down in the manual section, you will find an XR section, and we have a category basic, which is just your setup. And then we have some specific OpenXR things. And we have a little bit of information about extra tools, but you really at that point go to the documentation of extra tools itself. And then the other one, which is really important, is our vendor plugin, which implements some of the vendor specific extensions in OpenXR. And you will find some more information about that here. This is also available through the asset library in Godot. But yeah, it'll come on. Oh, this is a weird bug that I have with Chrome right now. The Chrome sometimes just stops reacting until I tab away from it and come back. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so you'll find a whole bunch of information about these various extensions that we do. So for Meta, and there's only 2 for Android right now, but this list is expected to grow now that we're focusing on Android XR as well. A lot of these have got demos that you find in this repository, and we're talking about Valve right now. Why am I talking about Meta extensions? Valve is actually implementing some of these. So for instance, they've implemented the Meta Dynamic Resolution extension. That's actually, can I? No, I don't. They don't have that yet, I think. No, I haven't updated yet. Anyway, so yeah. Just be aware that exists. As I said, completely in the beginning is getting this again. Right now, today, on the 16th of January, there is a bug in the vendor plugin that prevents it from running on the frame. That I'm looking into that, or we're looking into that, I should say. Hopefully, that'll be fixed soon. So we'll deal with that all. Okay. So Unity been a nightmare. Well, I've never done VR work in Unity, so I cannot compare. Don't want to as well. So all I can suggest is try out Godot. You might like it, you might not. I love it. That's all I can say. I forgot to make a bug report about it. New 4.6 SSR was broken in 4 Plus last time I checked. Ooh, that sounds. I do know that there was a rewrite of SSR, so maybe they still messed something up. But yeah, do report that, because obviously that's something we want to have fixed, especially with the 4.6 release any day now. Well, it's probably still a week or 2 away, but we are getting close. We're on RC1. Android XR light estimation. Yeah, we are working on light estimation. That is the first version of it, and there's more to come there. I haven't played with it yet. I've looked at the code and been engaging with the guys who have been working on that. I haven't had time for that. I'm actually, one of my next things that I will be working on soon is I'm going to do some content on spatial entities, and I'm going to be using my Galaxy XR for that. So who knows? I might be able to sneak in light estimation there as well and have a play with it. Light estimation is basically when you look at AR, the camera is recording your environment and it's trying to get lighting based on your actual environment, so that whatever virtual objects you have are lit in a way that fits your actual lighting environment in real life, instead of having the sun come through your window and having a virtual sun from the other direction. Sort of like, why is it being lit from the wrong side? So yeah, it's pretty cool. I do not know how far along that is. I know that we've done some experimenting on ARKit, where you even get a whole reflection map made from your room, and you actually can have your room reflected into things. I think that's something that is being looked into, but we'll see. Will be good. Mimo, 2 things. Thank you for I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I hope it's all very useful. Let us know I don't know if you're on our Discord, but we always love to hear what people are making with Godot. And if you're not comfortable with that, that's also good. Hope you are enjoying working with Godot for doing VR stuff. Need linear color space from the camera, calibrated and standard luminance units. I do not know how much that is linked to what they're currently doing on the light estimation side, but I do know that is obviously you want to make sure that your environment lighting and color space is the same as what you're using for your virtual objects. But I haven't myself played around with that a lot, so I can't really, I can't say anything meaningful there. Cool. Yeah. Build your own light reflection map from light estimation. It's not, it's not impossible, not impossibly difficult, but it is very, very cool. So yeah. All right. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Yeah, again, I hope this was good. I hope I'm still going to be alive tomorrow, that I'm not going to get ticked out for saying the wrong things tonight. But, I'm sure it's okay. I'm just joking. But yeah, I hope this is worth it. I hope this will help people who want to start doing Godot stuff with the Steam frame. Obviously, there's not going to be many people out there, but I'm still hoping that this is going to be useful. And as more people get Steam frames, there will be, this will be recorded as a VOD, assuming that it doesn't get taken down. So hopefully, anybody who comes in later and wants to have a refresher, it's there. Again, things do change, so don't take this as gospel. But again, that's the other thing for anybody who is interested in Godot. We have a wonderful Discord server. If you go to the official Godot engine website and you go to community, you will find our Discord server over here. There's a XR channel in the Discord server that is very active, and that is a great place to drop in, talk about Godot, talk about VR support, and get help if you want to get started, or if you're already working in Godot for VR. It is a great place with lots of really nice people. So just wanted to give a shout out to that. So let's see, is there anything else that I want to react to? If I've got to wait for the frame pre-orders. Yeah, well, join the Discord, thanks for stream, very informative. Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. And hopefully I'll see you again. And yeah, till next time.